You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 5th day of February, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here or right now. This is our second live broadcast of the trading day. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. Now, the first broadcast, that's our live training room. So that, of course, is private. It is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, you can do so by simply going to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page, there's a link that says 5-day free trial. No credit card required. Just click that link, fill out the registration form, and you're done. If you fill out the registration form properly, what will happen is same day, we will get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and then your trial will actually begin the following day. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up for the trial. You'll get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. And the trial is not just for the live training room, but it's also unfettered access to all of the resources that our lifetime members have access to. From the mentoring, one-on-one, to the alerts, everything. The only thing you don't have access to on the trial is the members only workshop on Thursday night. The minute you become a member, you will have access also to the Thursday night members only workshop, and you'll have the key to the vault that contains all the archives of previous members only weekly workshops. Now, when the live room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for the afternoon broadcast, the public broadcast. This broadcast is open to everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do this once. Go to mytradingiq.com and scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. Complete the 30-second registration form. It's very short. And you're done. What will happen going forward, every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Now, there will be days, of course, when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. You can. And there'll be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do that too. Talking about our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. CFRN. Really easy to remember because you already know the YouTube part. So all you got to remember is just CFRN. Now, not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,400 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a good way to get to know who we really are. Not just today, not just this week, but thanks to YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, even more. Now, obviously, you can't listen to them all, but just pick some days at random. Listen in for a little bit. You'll discover the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast and through our very vibrant trading community. youtube.com/CFRN. All right, let us open with a word of prayer, our daily devotional, as we do each afternoon. The topic we've been on now for almost 2 weeks: how to be rich God's way. Today's instruction is about honoring God. When David called the Israelites together in Jerusalem to announce the plan to build the temple, the people were excited. Money started pouring in, and their participation was heartfelt. In the midst of all this euphoria, David prayed a prayer that gives us insight into his heart and perspective regarding life, God, and the purpose of money. Through this prayer, we discover the one primary objective that should guide the way we think about and handle our money. This mindset is the key to being good at being rich. 1 Chronicles 29:11. Praise be to you, Lord, the God of our father Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor. For everything in heaven and earth is yours. Yours, Lord, is the kingdom. You are exalted as head over all. David was looking back over all that God had taken the Israelites through, and he concluded, God, this is all about you. Everything belongs to you. And then David continues in 1 Chronicles 29:12. Wealth and honor come from you. You are the ruler of all things. In your hands are strength and power to exalt and give strength to all. From David's perspective, not only did God own all material things, but he was also the source of the things money can't buy. Things like honor, power, strength. David's comment was meant to describe everything a person enjoys in life as well as everything that enables our accomplishments. In short, David was declaring that everything belongs to God. Everything comes from God, and everything is dispensed by God. David concluded this in 1 Chronicles 29:13 through 14. He wrote, "Now our God, we give you thanks and praise your glorious name. But who am I, and who are my people, that we should be able to give as generously as this? Everything comes from you, and we have given you only what comes from your hand." What a perspective. David even considered himself unworthy of the opportunity to be generous. This mindset is just the opposite of what many rich people convey today. In contrast, they seem to say, "This is mine. I worked hard for this, and I'm entitled to do whatever I want with it." So, if everything belongs to God, comes from God, and is dispensed by God, what should be the one thing that governs our approach to money? As I think about that prayer, two words come to mind: honor God. Those two words encapsulate all the things David declared about his riches. If you were to pursue only one goal for everything you possess, this should be it: honor God. Serve that single objective, and everything else just falls into place. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the abundance of blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Every good and perfect gift comes from you, and we are grateful for your provision in our lives. Help us, God, to remember that all we have is yours, entrusted to us for a time. Help us to be faithful stewards of the resources, talents, and opportunities that you have given us. And help us to use them to glorify your name and further your kingdom here on earth. Lord, teach us to give generously and cheerfully, knowing that it is a reflection of our gratitude for all that you have done for us. May our hearts overflow with thanksgiving as we offer our gifts and talents back to you. Grant us wisdom and discernment in how we use our resources, that we may invest them in ways that honor you and bring about your purposes in the world. And Lord, may our lives be a living testimony to your faithfulness and your provision, as we seek to be generous and faithful stewards of all that you have entrusted to us. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Monday. That's what it is. Hopefully it's a happy Monday for you, wherever you are, wherever you are. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. I wrote a little strong commentary in the Breeze channel in Telegram over the weekend. That's our own private social media channel. If you haven't had a chance to read it, yeah, you might look for it. I think it was Saturday afternoon. All right, here's the numbers. Again, these are the cash markets, the indices. The Dow is down 319 points, almost 1%. The NASDAQ is down 50. S&P 500 is down 18. The Russell 2000, our man in the street, is down 34 points. That's 1.75%. And that's a big deal. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up 30 cents, trading $72.60 last. Gold down $14.70, trading $20.39 last. Silver down 42 cents, trading $22.37 last. That's a drop of almost 2%, or almost $2,500 per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 196 points. Shanghai dropped 27. Hang Seng fell 23. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 2.5. The DAX down 14. The CAC down 2.5. So the only green on the screen is the Nikkei. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. And so far, it's a big red Radio Monday here in the US of A. Then let's go to Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. We are currently in week 288. And over the last 288 weeks, we've issued over 16,000 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged over those 288 weeks, 16,000 alerts, is 20% or less being stopped out based on market structure. In a very simple process we teach all of our lifetime members. Now, this recap was done by Valerie this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, that's the beginning of our week. Stocks don't start till Monday morning, but futures open for business Sunday night. We've issued a total of 13 alerts since the market opened last night. Still waiting on the outcome of 8. That gave us 5 actionable alerts, of which, so far, nothing has been stopped out. I don't know why this thing doesn't want to format properly like it used to, but I'll keep trying. There. That looks a little better. Silver's in at 0%, but there's still 8 waiting. I haven't issued any new alerts today. The alerts issued last night are based on last week's weekly trading zones, because the new zones don't come out until Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the zones are published for our members and trial members, they're carved in stone for the entire week. So when we go to the charts, you'll see last week's zones because that's what our traders had to work with last night. And then on tomorrow's afternoon broadcast, you'll see this week's zones on my chart. The logic alerts are based on current price action, but there's time built into each alert for you to, 1, get the alert, 2, go to your 30-minute chart, 3, see the window of opportunity that the alert represents. Now, the purpose of the alerts is not so you can just trade the alerts and not have to worry about learning how to trade. I understand some people will get lazy and just do that, but that's not the purpose. Purpose is to teach you how to spot the windows of opportunity yourself. It would make no sense sitting in a boat on a lake fishing all day if that lake had no fish in it. The purpose of the alerts is for you to learn how to read the chart, see the opportunity, and then be prepared to take advantage of the opportunity using everything Michael teaches you in the live training room each day when price gets to that area. Once an alert is published, it is valid until it's triggered. Whether it takes an hour, a day, a week, a month, or a year, it's valid. Nature abhors a vacuum, so do the markets. Eventually, that window of opportunity will fill. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. because futures trade around the clock and we have traders around the globe. So their day session is our night session and vice versa. Along with the logic alerts, which 288 weeks is a pretty long time, but long before we had the logic alerts, we had the concierge trade alerts. And they're a little bit different. Number one, they don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. So the new week began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when the Globex markets open. And they'll remain open until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. There is a 1-hour break each day from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So we all know it's the Monday session, but it began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. The Monday session will end at 5 p.m. Eastern today. Stocks close at 4, but futures continue until 5. There'll be a 1-hour break. The markets will go quiet. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen. And that's the beginning of the Tuesday session. So when we go to the charts, just remember that 10 minutes into the first 30-minute candle is when our members and trial members had all of these targets. Okay? Now, you're welcome to take a screenshot, or if you're watching after the fact, you can just hit pause on the YouTube video, youtube.com/CFRN. Make note of the numbers that are important to you based on the markets that you trade, and we'll walk through each one of these markets, okay, before today's broadcast ends. Now, the first thing you want to do when this report is published each evening is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever markets you trade or are learning how to trade. We'll use the ES as an example. make note on your 30-minute chart where price is at the time the report is published. It will always be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target and a line in the sand at the short target. Those lines will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. Now, the BBC is the green line you'll see on my charts. Doesn't matter what time frame you put it on, whether it's a daily, a 30-minute, or 5-minute. If price is above the green line, we're bullish and anticipate higher prices relative to the time frame you're looking at. If price gets below the green line, then we're bearish, looking for lower prices relative to the time frame you're looking at. BBC simply stands for bull, bear, cross. Price crosses above the green line, we're bullish. Price crosses below the green line, we're bearish. Now with the logic alerts, those often have multiple targets and they always have a final trade to target. That's because I look left for you to spot the potential obstacles to the trade, previous swing highs and swing lows, so that you can learn how to do it yourself. With the CTAs, you get to look left yourself and spot those potential obstacles on the way to the target. You'll also learn over time how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. That is important because price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. Price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to get to the zone below. We've published the zones every week since December 14th of 2009. They come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And again, once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Other than that, resist the urge to make it more complicated. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. Let's go look at the daily chart. Okay, here's Friday's candle. Here's today's candle. Where did the market find support? At the step line. We've got a high, we've got a lower high. Okay, this was a red candle all the way down. It's rebounded a little bit. The reason you want to look at a daily chart first of whatever you trade, whether it's futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has to do with account size. You see, when the institutional traders trade, that's what moves price because of the size that they trade in. So our strategy is not designed to try to outsmart the institutions with their infinite resources, but to help you clearly see and understand what they're doing and why they're trying to do it. What is the objective? Armed with that information, when you go to your smaller time frame, you know which way the wind is blowing. Pretty simple to get your goal for the day. There's that green line I mentioned, the BBC, bull bear cross. Price crosses below it, we're bearish, anticipating lower prices. Price crosses above it, we're bullish, anticipating higher prices. The pullback to the BBC pulls more often than it doesn't, as you can see. We didn't quite get to, on this last pullback, we didn't quite get to the BBC because at the time we had that 24% fib extension, which acted as good support. That sent us up to the 38. Now we spiked the 38, but we basically closed right at it. So then we opened last night, took a sharp drop. We've now bounced. See how we came down right to the step line? When the step on the way up, the step line's your friend, but once the step line crosses the BBC or crosses blue and climbing, that's an indication it's going to attempt to pull back to the BBC, as it did. By looking at the daily chart first, you get a high altitude view of where key resistance and key support are. Okay, jot those numbers down. This is a daily chart. You don't have to look at it every 5 minutes. You just want to get the lay of the land before you start trading. This will enable you to trade with the flow as opposed to against the flow. All alerts are created on the 30-minute chart. Again, these are last week zones. Okay. This was the opening candle last night. The vertical line separates today, Monday, from Friday. I scroll back Thursday. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. When price rallies up to a weekly zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. So the market was just flat all night until 10 o'clock this morning. We took a drop that took us down to the target, through the target. We then consolidated at the zone. Now again, these are last week's zones, but important prices, important areas are almost always tested. Now you can see that today's low keyed off this low right here. See how that works? Always be looking left. Now on the ES, as I said, we've bounced off the low of the session. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. So the question is, will buyers be committed enough to take out these overnight highs, pushing us up towards the long target? We won't even consider the long target until we reach this area up here. We've got to overcome all, see this? That's resistance, resistance. All across here, resistance. We've got to overcome that resistance, hold it on a pullback, and then run for the roses. Key takeaway here, support at the zone, resistance at the zone, support at the zone. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night. We were trapped with resistance overhead and support below. Finally, price traded below the BBC and dropped enough to give you your goal for the day. So we got a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and then another leg that took us all the way down to the short target. Then we caught a bounce, and then came back to the short target, support, bounced to the BBC, resistance, and now we have dropped tremendously. Right to the area of this bullish cross. Whenever you have a bullish cross, that's when the blue line gets above the green line. That's a bullish cross. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. So just like the ES, the Dow is now attempting to retrace to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. Just like that. And again, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't, but we know eventually price will trade through. That keeps the markets good and tradable. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night, right at the zone. We had the BBC overhead and red and falling, and so that took us right down to the target. When the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. So when the market finds resistance, it's then going to go look for support, which it found. Keying off that low right there. Support sends us back to resistance. Resistance sends us to support. And last week's zone was 1924/25. And this low is 25.4. So we missed touching the zone by 4 ticks. But the step line crossed red and falling, and now we've pulled back to the BBC. So if the pullback holds, we'll get another leg to the downside. On the NQ, here's where we opened last night. Price trapped between support below, resistance overhead. And we just kind of waddle sideways. Never really making any major moves. I mean, we had legs. Okay. When you're above the BBC, look for long opportunities on the 30-minute chart. If you're above the BBC, look for long opportunities. Once you get below, then of course you're going to look for short opportunities. And as you can see, price came all the way down to the target, to the tick. So on the way up, where's price likely to find resistance? Possibly right here, where it found 1, 2, 3, 4 30-minute candles found resistance there. Okay. So you need to overcome that before price can get to the long target. Crude, we had a gap higher open on crude last night. There's the gap fill. Market found support at the zone. Bounced us up to the BBC resistance. Caught another leg to the downside. A return to the short target. Another leg to the downside. And now, see, we gapped higher on the open. Now we've already filled the gap. We did that last night, coming down. But we're reaching, right now, the opening 30-minute candle last night, the high was 72.98. And this high is 73.01. So we've only taken it out by a couple pennies. So be careful. Let it prove itself. Okay. 73.50 to 73.70. That would be worth $200 per contract traded. If you earn the right to trade 10 contracts, that would be $2,000. Okay. On gold, this was the open last night. We immediately dropped below the BBC and ran right to the target at 20.50. When the market finds support, it will go look for resistance, which it found at the zone and the BBC. That sent us back to the short target again, and to the zone, where we caught a little bounce, and down to the next zone, where we caught a little bounce, and then down to the next zone. where we've caught a bounce that looks like this time. See how this pullback held. This pullback may not hold. And we know eventually that the pullback won't hold, even though it holds more often than not. And so, if price gets up into this area, 2046 to 2047, that would give you your goal for the day. Unless you just caught it last night. $20.54 down to $20.50. That's $400 per contract traded right there. Earn the right trade 10 contracts, it's $4 grand. Silver. This was the open last night below the BBC, and it took us right down to the target. Now, you only need 2 pennies with silver to get your goal for the day. When silver moves $1 in price, that's worth $5 grand. When crude moves $1 in price, that's worth $1 grand. When gold moves $1, that's worth $100 bucks. So we got a leg and a retracement. We pulled up to the zone resistance, and a leg and a retracement. Resistance at the BBC, and then a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement. That's how price moves in legs. Leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg, retrace, leg. Now, here we didn't continue the trend. Okay. See, you had a low here, and a lower low, and a lower low. This time, you had a higher low. So this might just be the time that silver trades through the BBC. But you're going to look left to see where your potential obstacles are. Got one right there, there, and again there. The euro. Gap lower open. Hit the target. Support sent us to resistance at the zone and the BBC. Sent us back down to the target again. And now the step line has crossed and we're attempting to pull back to the BBC. And Michael should be joining us here momentarily. He'll give us a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room. And then we'll go live on the TradingView platform, do some live trading for 30 minutes. And then when we're done there, I'll wrap things up with our good word for the day. So I don't want to jump off into a different topic because he's going to be showing up here momentarily.
Here I am.
Here he is. Here's the man. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here it goes over to my side. There you go. Should be my screen now.
Yes, I can see it now. It looks good.
Great. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, the 5th day of February, 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to, go here to mytradingiq.com, and right here it says sign up for your free 5-day training now, 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern Time, or 9:15 to 11:30 Eastern Time. Click on that, and you're going to be brought to this page, registration page. Just fill out this form. There's no credit card required for this, right? No credit card required for the free trial. Fill out this form, and down at the bottom it says optional. If you're using TradingView or NinjaTrader. If you're using TradingView, give us a username or login ID, and if you're using NinjaTrader, give us a machine ID. All right. If you do that, we'll be able to set up your desktop for you, or we'll be able to enable the indicator so you can set up your desktop. or enable your indicator so you can ask us to help you set up your desktop ahead of time. All right, that's all you have to do. Just give us that information ahead of time and we'll enable it for you. So you'll be ready to go. All right, now the spreadsheet. If you were going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 5th day of February 2024, as I said. Yes, okay. Today on the NQ, we made 70 ticks on the NQ. We lost 5 on the Russell. We made 5 on crude, made 9 on the ES. That puts us at 5.5 on the morning session. Today it took 25 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,680 and it took a total of 14 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $1,512. He's averaging $504 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year now, we're at $11,100 over 24 trading days, averaging $462.50 per contract per morning session. All right. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add 1 contract a month, doing the 24/20 blueprint. So we started this in January of last year. So we're up 14 contracts now. It's our 14th month. So far this year, you would have only had to work 10.03 hours getting your goal fully. And starting with 13 contracts, and now with 14, you would have averaged $4,732 per hour so far this year. All right, for those 10 hours. So we have $47,482 is what it comes up to. All right, that is that. Now let's get into the trading, what we did today. All right, we traded a little bit on all the markets. On the NQ, we only 1 trade that we took. And where was it? Here it was, right here. We took 10 ticks profit on this trade right here. All right, and the way that was coming together, the DOM kept showing more and more and more as it was going down. And I trailed my stop to plus 10. I think I had a target down there at like 14 or something like that. But it came back and got me out at 10. And it just kept going all the way down to the weekly trading zone. Once it did that, it got really sideways in here, a whole lot of no trade zone for the morning session. Then we finished up getting out of the no trade zone here at the end of the morning session, 11 o'clock. There was a one trade right here. If I had taken that, I'd have gotten a break even probably. There was another follow-up blue arrow right here. Now, if you didn't take, you had to take the first one. If you didn't take the first one, you can take anything else after until it's in a higher swing. So you had to take that first one. And depending on how you manage your risk, you might have gotten a break even, you might have gotten a little profit, you might have stayed in for the whole move up. I would have gotten a break even. Managing the way that I always manage it. After that, there was there that you could have taken. If you took any one of these, it had to put it in a higher swing. Once the green arrow came, it definitely had to put it in a higher swing. So if you took the first one, the second one, if you only took the second one, would have stopped you out. If you took the green arrow, some profit. And since then, we're coming up to this blue arrow right now that just gave about 7 ticks in profit. And now it's pulling back a little bit. All right, and that was the crude oil this morning. The Russell, we had just a few trades on the Russell. I guess I did a lot of talk on this one and wasn't playing. Because it doesn't look like I took that many trades. I feel like I did a lot of talking. I feel like I did a lot of talking. All right. So right here, our first trade on the Russell was a stop up. We were minus 10 ticks. Our next trade on the Russell was right here. We picked up 5 ticks in profit. I think that's where we got the goal for the day. We got those 5 ticks. And that was it for the Russell for us today. There were some more trades in here, but again, I was in the lesson plan, I was talking a lot. There was one break-even trade here that we took, okay. Green arrows were triggering all over the place, green arrows, a blue arrow over here, and the blue arrow here. This was during the break, and that was it. So not a ton of trades there on the Russell. The green arrows were doing okay. They were looking good, but I didn't take a ton of trades. And yeah, I had 3 trades. I had the minus 10, the plus 5, and a break even is what I had. The ES, we have just a couple of trades. and it was doing pretty well with the green. I mean, the green and the blue arrows. We took this first one here, and we got 8 ticks profit on that one after coming out of this no trade zone that lasted from 9:30 to 10 for half an hour. Was in a no trade zone. We had 8 ticks profit on that one. We got 1 tick profit on that to get us to +9, and that was it. Let's get into the break here. It was a long trade right here. I feel like I got a break even on that. That's the one that my car and I were talking about going back and forth about. I think I did take that. I didn't count it because I wasn't counting toward the total. I did get some profit on that. That was one that he was saying he didn't know he didn't know why I just thought about, but it was because he was thinking I had an 8 tick stop and I had a 10 tick stop. So it did move up. It's all in the recording anyway. It did move up, and I think I ended up taking. I got stopped out with a trailing stop, so I got stopped out with 4 ticks in profit. But I was looking for it to get up through all this stuff. And there's another one right here. And if I look at the DOM right now, right now at times at 12:55, we're still early. We're putting trades on for the trading session, but the DOM is suggesting it's going to go up to 67.50. 67.50 is what the DOM is suggesting it's going to go up to. Put a mark right there. Okay, we'll slide that over some. Right there. 67.50 is what the DOM is suggesting that's going to get up to. The pullback is also in there too. The pullback's at 63.75. So the pullback is all the way down here. This is what the DOM is suggesting. Okay, 63.75. Anyway, on the S, we just had those couple of trades, and we ended up with +9. The NQ, I have the extra slingshot on. Okay, on the NQ this morning, that ES is starting to move. I think it's going to move up, I think. See, the NQ gave the blue arrow right here just a few minutes ago. All the way over here. All the way over here. All right, so on the NQ, there's a blue arrow here that I missed. We're given a good amount. Blue arrow here that I missed, another good amount. This is my blue arrow that I took, and I got 9 ticks in profit on that. Then I took a blue arrow in here, and I stopped out. So I was at -11 after that. Then I took this green arrow right here, and I got +30 on that one, put me at 19. A couple of break evens, 3 break evens in a row. Then I took this one, and I got +30 on that, put me at 49. And I took this one, and I got up to 65, so it must have been 6 ticks. No, 16 ticks. 16 ticks on that one. And I didn't do any of these blue arrows. So I didn't do any of those blue arrows in there. Some nice ones in there. I would have stopped out. That would have stopped out too. Lots of blue arrows in there. I was talking all today though. But look at all those blue arrows. That would give me just a ton of opportunity in there. Some of them stopped out. For sure. Some of them stopped out. Oh, I just went right through it all. So we went from 49, went to 65, and we had one more in here somewhere where I got 5 tickets. We went to 70. It was after I stopped talking, and I don't think I stopped until right about in here somewhere. So there was one more trade in there somewhere that I got 5 more ticks profit on that put me at +70. And that was the morning session. So there was a lot of trades this morning. There was a lot of stuff that I didn't do that triggered, and this is all in the break right here. 30 ticks, 30 ticks, 30 ticks. And this one right here would have given you, well, it's 15 range bars, so it would have given you 10 or 12 at least. If you were still in it, there's still a chance it'll give you something, but we're in an uptrend. This is just a pullback in the bigger uptrend. And that brings me to guess what to talk about for the next minute and a half before I start the live stream. Let me just make sure I have the live stream ready. The ES trade over here just got up to that number. That ES trade just got up to that number. I wasn't really watching it, but I hit my stop to break even. I'll actually put it at +2 now. It should get up to the weekly trading zone, I'm thinking. All right. And this should not put in a lower swing. This should move up too, is what I'm thinking. But yeah, let's go look at the bigger picture stuff. Oh, and I was going to make sure I had everything ready to go for the live stream too. Let me just check that right quick. All right, it's not ready to go there. Is it ready to go here? It is ready to go there. I had it all ready to go this morning, and then I lost it, and I had to open it up again, and I ended up opening it up late. So that kind of stunk. But yes, did not put in a lower swing as you're not interested in the short trade. And what I was trying to bring up here for you was this, the stuff we're looking at in the bigger picture this morning. On the ES, now we've gotten all the way back up through the ribbon up to the weekly trading zone. Okay, so this was the bottom that we put in. Now, if it's gonna do what it did the last time, it's gonna go through this weekly trading zone and just about get up to the next one, up to here. Get up through the next one. If it's gonna do what it did the last time. Now we had news that pushed it this time. Right? We don't really have all that much news this week that's gonna push it. As a matter of fact, we don't have another FOMC until March. But let's just look at some of these other markets. The crude oil, if it were going to go down through this ribbon, this is where it was going to go down to, not through this weekly trading zone. This is where it was going to go down to. I was having a hard time with it this morning because this first bar, this one bar right here, was a whole leg length all by itself. So it was kind of hard to see what to expect from that. But now that you see this swing high is up here, this is what it should do. All right down to that weekly trading zone is what it should do. Don't know what it's going to do, but that's what it should do. Now, the NQ, if it's going to do what it did before, it's going to go right through right here. Or maybe consolidate at it a little bit, but eventually go through it. Consolidate at it a little bit before here, eventually through it and go all the way up here. Now, we were looking for a bottom on this morning, and the bottom is right there. Okay, so it was searching for a bottom this morning, and it found it right there. It's the NQ, and the Russell's the last one. The Russell is the only one that's really been doing what it should do. This was the leg length through this morning, and it almost hit that leg length. It pulled right back up. The black line got inside the ribbon. It's gone back. Got inside the MA1. It's gone back up and tested the ribbon. Oops, I gotta hit the live stream. There I was a minute ago saying I have it all ready to go, and here I am right now looking for it. Here it is. All right, let's start right now. All right, it is running. So hanging in here was this morning I was looking for the Russell to get up to the ribbon here. I was thinking it would go all the way up to the weekly trading zone probably, but we'll see. This is the leg length that it should sure this morning when we started that, right? So the bottom is now right here. So it should go out through the weekly trading zone. But we're looking for it to hit the ribbon and bounce off the ribbon and move back down. And, we'll be good with that. All right, so back in here to the trading. Now we got a little bit of profit on this blue arrow here on the ES a few minutes ago when we started up at 1:15 Eastern time. Now this did put in a lower swing. I wasn't really expecting that. It did put in a lower swing on the NQ, so we have an opportunity to trade there again. Now, we're coming off the ribbon right here, right now. So on the NQ, what you would do is look where the top is and sell 4 points from the top. So the top is here. Ooh, now the top is all the way up there at 94. So I'd be selling 90 right there. Okay, 4 points from the top is what I want to sell. Why? Well, because these are 15 range bars. And I know a down close on this bar would be a trade. Now it's not the case anymore. The down close on this bar might trade, but it's not. See right there, the green got into the black. That's not a valid trade anymore. But the reason I was selling that on the other bar, a down close on that bar, this bar right here, a down close on this bar would have been a trade. If it took it out of the overbought, it definitely would have been a trade, right? But right now, what this color is telling you, this color in the background right here, what it's telling you is that this is too good a pullback to want to trade. It's too risky to take this trade, right? If it's going to continue in that direction, let it pull the black line out of the green right here, right? Let the green pull out of the black line. That's basically what's going to happen. I doubt that's going to happen, but that's what's got to happen to make this a trade. Okay, See right there, the green is out of the black right now, but I don't know if there'd be a trade set up out of it. It'd have to pull back, hit the ribbon, and then give us a down close. It's possible it could do that. If it pulled back there, it just didn't. It pulled back and it hit the ribbon, but now we've gone into a no trade zone. So I have a feeling we're not going to get a trade out of that. All right. So you know what I haven't done yet today? With all the stuff that I've done today, I have not gone to look at other stuff. Not even one. So I don't know why I have the NQ on a 15 range on this particular chart, but we'll just go to Bitcoin. Let's see what that's doing. And look at that on the 15 range. Look at that on a daily chart. Whoa, that looks like wrapping paper. All right, I'm waiting for it to catch up. Uh-oh. Where is all the stuff that we've been drawing forever? Somehow it got lost. Well, anyway, it's going sideways right here. And this is kind of what we were anticipating. I'm thinking it's going to get all the way up to here at some point, even further than that. Up here, about 50,000 pretty soon. But right now, it's just a bunch of sideways action, just what happened back here. All right, if I were to draw it all over again, all the stuff that we had drawn in it, from the middle of December up until now, it'd be something like that, like length right there is what you'd be looking at. Oops, sorry. To start with, it'd be something like that. Okay. But we're not there yet. That was that one. I'm guessing that everything is probably erased. Everything that I had going in here on all these things. Yeah, see this one we had, remember we had the box drawn on this sideways, and that's gone. I think I did with that. That's a copy of it. I don't know, doesn't really matter. But we have a blue arrow here on daily. That suggests it's going to go down to this level right here. Now, I was after it bounced off of the ribbon here a little bit, but didn't put in a new higher swing. It went right down through it. Right now, it's looking like it's going to head down even lower. Down to here, and then all the way down to here. That's Mara. Mr. is the only one we're looking at. Mr. Let's see. And here we have a blue arrow on here on the daily too. That's suggesting it's going to go down to here. Same thing. And if it fails there, down to here, down to 400. And if it fails there, all the way down to like 320, 330. So there's a lot of room for failure here on this. For failure. If anybody wants to see any other symbols, all you have to do is ask if you want to look at anything else. You know, we had that one guy, Logic. That's the beginning of his ID name. And he had, look at Microsoft, AMD, and NVIDIA, the stocks that he wanted us to look at last week. And well, we gave our opinions of those at the time. I'm on 5 right here, right? Oh, that's why. I was looking at the wrong chart. That's why it wasn't here. Look. Let's do this on Bitcoin. There it is. It has all our stuff in there. All the stuff that we were looking at. And this was that leg length that I drew just a few minutes ago. This one right here. Carry that all the way over here. That's the leg length that I drew just a few minutes ago. So this is going to have all the stuff that we drew. That's sort of what I did with that. So Nara, looking at the same stuff. And Mr. should have the little box drawn on it. That's relief. I was wondering how I managed to delete all that. Here's the box that I was talking about, Mr. Okay, and we looked at AMD. And this, and here is what we drew, and we looked at that on the AMD with him before. You see it's bounced off of that, and now I would expect it's going to get up to this level right here. Right after the black line crossed into the MA1, their price had to come down and hit the ribbon, which it did, and now it's bouncing off of that, going up. Microsoft was the other one that you want to look at. This is Microsoft. That's also bouncing, but it never came down and actually hit the ribbon. It still should hit the ribbon here. The ribbon may rise up to the bottom of it. We don't know yet. That's Microsoft and NVIDIA. I didn't do that right. No, I didn't. NVDA. All right, and that's just on a tear right now. Actually had a gap in here, 2 gaps in a row. This is on the daily chart. So if you break this down to like a 30-minute, nice gaps right in there today, and that's the pullback. The black line has gotten inside the MA1 up here. The black line got inside the MA1. It needs to pull back down and test the ribbon. Now it's on such a tear right here. It's going to go up, but there's a gap here. It needs to fill to get down here and hit that ribbon. Okay. I'm glad all that stuff came back up, and this was just supposed to be an NQ. Oops, that's the wrong NQ. Put the right NQ on. NQH. And not on a daily. They're like on a 15 range. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I don't have the question box up right now, but let me bring it up and see. No questions. Okay. Well, it is 1:10. We have 20 minutes left in the session. And we will be happy to jump in and look at anything that you want to look at right now. All right, so we did put a higher swing here from this green arrow back here, and we'll be looking for that to pull back and give us another shot at it. Here we got a black arrow right now, but I'm gonna wait for a ribbon pullback here. Okay, black arrow. It's a pretty decent pullback. It's almost 50% of what this was, but a pullback down to the ribbon will be closer to 50% of what the leg up was. Over here on crude oil, we're on 7 range on the crude, and we need that to pull back down as well. Test the ribbon. And that's it. So this morning we had the lesson plan. This morning was a pretty good lesson plan. I think we went over a lot of stuff today. In the lesson plan, we talked about the bar types and the range charts and the tick value. The up closes, down closes, closes at the top and bottom, support resistance, DT Prudential Trader and TradingView. It was all good stuff, and I think we went into a lot of detail in certain things. I got a little bit sidetracked because of the questions that came in, but they're good questions. And we talked a little more about how these outer bands work and the value of the outer bands, right? Based on some of the questions. So any of you guys that are actual partners, all that was recorded this morning. And if you wanted to see any of it, I am, well, except for today, I'm up to date on getting all the recordings out into the, all the lesson plans. Into the appropriate Telegram folder or Telegram channel. But it felt like this one, you know, the lesson plan portion of it was, you know, it was a good solid hour, I think, and it seemed like some stuff that may have been new to people, seem like. Of course, I go over whatever you guys ask me about. You know, I have the actual written plan. You know, the written plan, but then the questions that arise from that. It's just like the partners meetings. The more questions you ask, the more answers you're going to get. Okay. Normally I limit those in the morning session, but today, for some reason, well, I was up pretty good, and there was no chance of me not getting the goal for the day or giving it all back. So the ES right now this is in Thursday's lesson plan, but the ES right now is trying to get up to 71.50 and then 72. You guys see that, right? 71.50 and then 72 is what the DOM is saying the ES is trying to get to right now. 71.50 and then 72. I know they're right next to each other, but it's gotten up to the 71.50 now, just about. And it's not really showing anything beyond 72 yet. But that's in Thursday's lesson plan. Reading the DOM. So you can see where price should go to from your entry point. This one right here went up to the tick, then it pulled all the way back down to this one, and then it rose up of that all the way up to the zone. It's pulling back down. This should act as support when it gets back down here, and then push back up here. Over here on the NQ, we're just about to have a long trade on that NQ. We're going to be coming out of the oversold, so it will be a valid long trade even if it's a black arrow. And that's what it will be right now because it hasn't hit the ribbon yet. It has to hit the ribbon to give us a blue arrow or a green arrow. One more down tick and then it would, but it looks like it's going to get us an up close and there'll probably be a black arrow. But it'll be an arrow nonetheless. Nope, now it's in the ribbon, so now it'll be a blue arrow, now it'll be a green arrow. Right, it'll be a green arrow right now. If you get an up close, it pulls it out of the oversold. And there it is, green arrow. There it is. I took it. It's not doing so well, but my entry was, wow, my entry was actually better than I thought. But we need to get 8 ticks in profit here to get the stop to break even. You get a little bit more on that. It's going to get up to 11.75. It's going to go through 11.75 here. It's going to go through 12. We'll have a chance to get the stop to break even. There it is, stop to break even. Again, that's in Thursday's lesson plan. So if you're on the trial and you want to learn how to read it like a book, ask questions during the lesson plan. Or ask questions anytime. You can set up a one-on-one training with me. Even if you're not on the trial, if you're an active partner, passport guy, and you want more information, all you have to do is set up a meeting. Okay. So I ended up getting a little bit of profit on that. I had a really good entry on it though. My entry was like down here somewhere. That one. All right. So here on the Russell right now, we want that to pull back down, test the ribbon, and give us an up close. Here on the crude, we want the same thing. Now we're in uptrends in both of them right now, but the Russell really needs to hit the ribbon because it hasn't hit the ribbon yet. The crude doesn't have to hit the ribbon, but it's got to get into the oversold before it's going to give us any kind of an error. Okay, now we didn't put in a higher swing from this green arrow that I took, so you can't take any more green arrows or blue arrows or any arrow. Okay. All right, 73.04. 73.04. Add 8 to that. Right, add 8 to that. 73.12. Which we buying over there on crude oil right now. Just like this. Here on the ES, we pulled all the way back down, tested the ribbon. Now we need to know close off the ribbon. A close off the ribbon right here will not give you any kind of an arrow. 66.25 up to 68.25. Okay. You're not going to get any kind of an arrow here on the Russell, and I'll close on this one. 46.4 up to 47.2 will give you an arrow if it pulls out of the oversold. I'm sorry. And there it did give us a blue arrow right there. So we're triggered into this one. Still in the right place with the ES, and I want 4 ticks in profit on this to get the stop to break even. And we're still in the right place on the crude. Okay, so our stop should be 10 ticks away. It needs to go 4 ticks, one more. Thought it just hit 4. One more. It's going to go through 48 anyway. It doesn't matter. There's 4. Okay, stop to break even. And we triggered in on the ES. Now the ES was not giving us an arrow because we're not coming out of the oversold. Right, break even on that one. We're down a little bit on the ES. Now the ES, we've got to make sure that stop is 10 ticks away, and it is. And we didn't trigger in on the crude. So we ended up with a break even here on the Russell. We're long the ES. We're not long the crude yet. Now we're long the crude too. All right, gotta make sure the stop is 10 ticks away on the crude. Now that needs to go 4 ticks into profit. It looks like it's going up to the high of the day. That's what it looks like. And the ES right here, again, for that up to the zone again and up there to the price swing high. That's what it should just got these numbers right up here at 71.50 and 72. It's trying to get up to. This needs to go 4 ticks into profit. It's not really showing anything in the DOM for us to go for. It does show something on the downside, so I'm hoping we get our 4 ticks in profit here. It should go to 4 ticks in profit right there. Thing, 4 ticks in profit. And I think, yeah, it just hit 4 ticks a second. So 4 ticks in profit wants to stop to break even. Over here on the ES now, we need that 4 ticks over here to get the risk off the trade. All right, so the target on this should be the midpoint up above right here at 73.30. That would be a nice target right there on that one. Okay. Over here, the target is going to be, well, it's going to be up here at 71.50. 71.50 is a good target for that one. All right, stop at break even over here on the crude. We ended up with a break even on the Russell. We're going to lock in just a little on the crude. That'll pay for commission of those. And now we'll wait and see what happens here on the ES. Right, the NQ is actually changing direction a little bit, but it's not quite there. No, I do not, Daniel. All right, I end up getting a break even on the crude too. No, I do not. Where are you watching? Are you in? Which room are you in watching? You in YouTube? You must be watching YouTube. Or are you in the live stream? You could be in live stream too, I suppose. All right, so we got a break even here, a break even here, and now our stop is 10 ticks away over here on the ES. The ES is having just a little trouble getting going here. Everything's having just a little trouble getting going. Bang. Okay, stop that on the ES. I don't keep track of them on a spreadsheet. Damn. Of course, everything's kept track of. All right, so we had a break in there, break even there, and we stopped that on the ES. Now the change directions here, so it needs to pull back up and test the ribbon to give us a shorting opportunity. Okay. It needs to change directions completely, pull back up and give us a shorting opportunity. Then that stop out from the ES right here. If we got a 30 tick trade on the NQ, that would make up for that stop out on the ES. We got 1 tick profit on that crude. I bumped myself to plus 1 tick on that. Now, this is going to have to hit the ribbon for me to take a trade. All right. I'm not going to take just the black one. Time's at 1:23. Okay, so we have 7 minutes left in here, guys. 7 minutes. This blue arrow did not put in a higher swing, so you can't take a trade here. We did not get any kind of an arrow over here on this I took a ribbon trade on this. I didn't take an arrow trade. So you could still take a trade on this. I can't because I didn't put in it's got to put in a higher swing for me to be able to trade in that direction. But you could if you didn't take that trade with me. Get logged in and go to webinar. Let's see you over there. Oh, there you are. Okay. I see you now. All right. It's 1:26, so we have about 4 minutes left. I'm hoping we're going to get an NQ trade here to make up for that ES trade. NQ was moving pretty well earlier. So let's crunch this up and see what's happening right here. This is standing right here. Okay, so let's go look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture again on the NQ. Russell NQ. Here it is. It is topping action right here, right at the ribbon. So, given this information, and this is going to be a bearish candle if it closes down at the bottom of this candle right here, at the bottom of the hour. That's going to be a bearish candle. It should go right back into the weekly trading zone, then probably all the way back down to here. Right to the low of the day, probably. Just because it did this twice, this was news-based. Both of those were news-based. We had FOMC, and then we had everything came out Friday, the unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, and all that stuff. We don't have the news today. We have one little piece of news, and it was bad, if I remember right. In here. This one. Oh, it actually came expected. Okay, well, the final services was bad. That's bad. So what do we have tomorrow? Nothing. Tomorrow. About Wednesday. Nothing. Food inventories. How about Thursday? Nothing. Unemployment claims Thursday. You know, on Wednesday we have crude inventories. Yeah, it's a really low news week. Our high happened today. It's okay. After all the news we had last week, those news people need a break. All right, so the crude is just about up to the weekly, to the midpoint in between the zones. The ES completely failed us. And the NQ is not pulled back to test the ribbon, so we don't really have anything that we can do right now. Not yet. Okay. Not yet. And we need this to pull back up and test the ribbon here. It's just not there. Not yet. I was hoping we were going to get a trade there on the NQ. Here it is. Now we've hit the ribbon. This is what I was looking for. We need a down close. It's going to be 91.50 down to 7.50, 87.50. Now it's not 87.50 anymore. Now it's 93.50 down to 89.50. 93.50 down to 89.50. Yeah, I almost have it in the right place. Here it is. Now I'm saying that because this bar is going to close right here at 89.75, and there. It just closed down, triggered us in, green arrow. It's all good. We need 8 ticks in profit to bump the stop to break even. It's going to hit right there like that. Stop to break even. Now a nice 30-tick trade on this is what I want. Like 2 ticks and 4 ticks. It should get down below the prior swing low, which is right here at 82.75. So right here is the prior swing low. Should go through that and hit us at 30 ticks right now. Okay. That's what it should do. Not taking more profit right there was hard. We got so close to the swing low. Right there. Just trying to get through it. There it goes. Same thing. All right. So that made up for the yes trade. That's what I wanted. All right. Well, that was it, guys. It is now 1:30, so it is time for me to wrap it up. That more than made up for the yes trade. This is $150 per contract. This was $125 per contract. So out of all 4 trades that I took, I had a break even on this one. No, I had a +1 tick on that one. I had a break even on this one. I had a -10 ticks on that one, and I had a +30 ticks on this one. So after all of it, that was just a little bit positive in this half an hour. But that is it. If you guys have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on this purple button right here. It's going to bring you to a registration page just like this. There is no credit card required. All I ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. If you're watching in TradingView, give us your TradingView login ID or username right here. All right. And if you have Ninja Trader, give us a machine ID. If you have it, give them both. And we'll get you all hooked up. We'll get your indicators indicating and get you into the room in the morning session and get everything going for you. Okay. That is it. With that, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Okie doke. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 25 minutes and 4 trades to get to $1,680 with 14 contracts.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Let's take one last peek at the daily chart. Okay. Sitting right on top of that 38% fib extension. We're above the blue and climbing. Found support there. Found support at the step line. We did not take out the low of Friday, nor did we take out the high of Friday. So this is what's called an inside day. I think this market has a long way to fall on the downside. It's going to happen this week, this month. I can't tell you. But the writing seems to be on the wall. To become a lifetime member with unfettered access to everything we do, everything we've ever done, and whatever we do in the future, you need a passport. To get your passport, go to mytradingiq.com. If you have questions, you can call us at 949-42-EMINI. You can send an email to support@cfrn.net. The passport, again, that's lifetime membership. No recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense. 9 out of 10 new traders fail simply because they have no one to teach them how to do the job. Having a teacher in an interactive environment is far different than just buying some indicator set or some cherry-picked videos, or even an instructional PDF. Live trading and live markets with a trader who is explaining every move they make, every trade they take, and the reason why, while you trade along, qualifying to go live, and asking lots of questions. People ask, how long will it take me to learn? Well, it depends on you. Different people learn at different speeds, but really it has to do with how many questions you ask and how quickly you ask them. If you're new, you should be filled with questions. What is this? Why'd you say that? What's going on? Don't ever be shy about asking a question. The purpose of the live training room is so that you can learn how to do it. If you want to learn how to swim, you can watch videos of Mark Spitz, for a year. And while you'll know who Mark Spitz is and you'll know what water looks like, that's not going to teach you how to swim. You got to get in the pool. Now, imagine being in the pool and having Mark Spitz there to teach you how to swim. Okay? Trading's no different. Whatever career path you choose, banker, baker, candlestick maker, you need somebody to teach you how to do the job. And that's what we offer. Along with lifetime membership, you get the live training room every trading day. You have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The strategy you learn and the indicators you own for life as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, it doesn't matter because price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. Support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. That cycle has been in place since the inception of the markets and will remain in place until the markets cease to exist. Why? Because that's how markets work. MyTradingIQ.com 94942 Emini support at CFRN.net. That's all it takes. You can become a lifetime member today. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Making your words count. Proverbs 18:4. Words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The wellspring of wisdom is a flowing brook. When Solomon speaks of deep waters, he's referring to the water at the bottom of the well. That's the cleanest and coolest. If you want to know what kind of water a well has, go down to the bottom. And if you want to know what's in a person's heart, listen to his or her words. An old country farmer put it this way: what's down in the well always comes up in the bucket. One of the surest signs of wisdom and maturity is the ability to say the right thing in the right way at the right time to the right person, or to say nothing at all. Indeed, as you become wiser, you'll talk less and say more. In Australia, when someone is arrested, the police are required to repeat an official caution before questioning them, just like we have the Miranda here in the U.S., informing them of their right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything, but anything you do say can be used as evidence, can be held against you in court. So unless your words are intended to build someone up rather than tear them down, silence is a right you should exercise every day. Sometimes the wisest option is not to give voice to your thoughts. In Proverbs 17:27 and 28, it says, "A wise man is someone who thinks twice before saying nothing." Again, Solomon weighs in here. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent. Proverbs 17:27, 28. So, it's better to keep your mouth shut when the Holy Spirit prompts you to do so. Silence can be misunderstood, but it can never be misquoted. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.